What's up guys? Today we are starting our new week off with a new set. We are going through all of the legacy support in the upcoming set for February, Burst Protocol. It is a lot of cards, so get ready. But without further ado, let's get right into it. And yeah, when I said a lot of cards, I meant it. I want to applaud Konami for that. There are not a lot of slots in this set wasted for pack filler. Everything is there to appeal to some kind of player, whether they're casual or competitive. I've arranged my list in order of how many cards the archetype got for legacy support, and I'll give timestamps for everything in the description, but we'll jump right in with the first one. Our first archetype with 8 pieces of new support is ROKKET. And that makes sense because the cover card is Boral Shroud Dragon, the new Link 5. The notable pieces of support from this set for ROKKET are ROKKET Loader, a new level 4 that you can normal summon to start plays, increasing your consistency. ROKKET Detonator, adding a higher ceiling to your M boards by summoning monsters from the spell trap zone. Boral Shroud Dragon itself, providing a negate for a face-up card on the field. Triss Boral Dragon, the new Link 3, allowing you to search for the new Miracle Fusion spell, and the new Fusion monster, which searches a ROKKET monster and equips a Link monster to itself, which can then be summoned by ROKKET Detonator to extend into more Link plays. Overall, I think this support is pretty strong and will make Dragon Link come back just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be meta defining or maybe even tier 2, but I hope that somebody proves me wrong because I've been in and out of playing this deck over the years and I want it to be good but not oppressive, and it's hard to balance dragons because the pool is so deep. If you made it this far, leave a comment with what deck you think tied ROKKET for 8 cards of support in Burst Protocol. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Thanks for watching. Did you guess right? With 8 cards of support, we also have ARCHFIEND Rituals. Now, this is a deck that's supported intermittently over time by Konami, and occasionally they'll print something that has ARCHFIEND in its name that has nothing to do with the actual ARCHFIEND deck. But here they just went crazy and said, we're gonna give it an identity. Let's get into the key cards. All 3 of the new main deck effect monsters provide consistency via direct searching. The red one searches an ARCHFIEND card and gives you a normal summon. The blue one dumps ARCHFIEND Heiress to search, and the purple one banishes a card from the graveyard to search too. The new ritual monster actually bridges with other fiend strategies, even though the deck ARCHFIEND blocks you from the extra deck, so you can theoretically summon like Regenesis ARCHFIEND or a Labyrinth monster off of this. They also got some new spells and traps, which provide them with consistency and the ability to summon the new ritual monster from the extra deck face up. The new continuous trap negates a face up card on the field, and the new level 3 purple monster can actually search ARCHFIEND's Ghastly Glitch, meaning that going first the end boards aren't laughable, but I don't think this deck is going to do anything, and it's definitely going to crumple to Droll. I want to play it, but that's because I like bad decks. Up next with 6 new cards, we have Magnet Warrior, and just like ARCHFIEND, this deck has been around for a really long time, but it's never been like a real deck. And so Konami gave it a game plan in this set. The most important stuff to know about is Sigma Minus, a new level 4 that lets you fusion summon when it's in the hand. Plasma Magnum, a new fusion monster that adds any magnet spell trap from the deck and turns all monsters on the field into Earth attribute. A new quick play spell that's a consistency tool and can be used to fusion summon if needed. And a new level 7 that you can search off of the quick play, which increases your consistency by dumping cards from deck to grave to summon itself. The new level 8 also provides M-board versatility by destroying a monster on the field when your opponent activates a monster effect, or taking control of that monster if it's Earth attribute, which it will be if they're under the floodgate of your fusion monster. So it has a game plan, but is it any good? I think this could be rogue playable if for nothing other than the fact that it does floodgate your opponent out of like attribute synergies by turning everything to Earth attribute, and the ceiling you can produce if you include like Adamancipator cards and stuff like that can actually get pretty high. So I wouldn't expect to see it everywhere, but definitely keep your eyes open. Moving right along, we have Assault Mode with 5 new cards, and this deck has kind of always been jank and inconsistent. I don't think these cards are going to magically fix that, but they're pretty interesting. Crimson Blader can activate in the hand to search for a card that names Assault Mode activate in its text, and then shuffle itself back into the deck, and on the field, it prevents your opponent from activating the effects of level 5 and higher monsters summoned from the extra deck. Both the field spell and the new normal summon, Assault Lich, provide consistency and new starting plays, and Assault Lich adds to your M board by searching for a trap card. And the new Synchro monster, Nightwing Priestess, lets you kind of still make a board under Droll and Lockbird because she sets from the deck and summons from the deck. I don't think Assault Mode is going to take over the world with this support. At best, it might get seen as an engine in other Synchro decks, but I don't even know if that's really realistic or not. But this is still great legacy support to include for casual players. Getting into our decks that have 4 cards of support, we have For Hire. Now, I really don't know that much about this deck. I have one friend who plays it and another friend who played the runic version for a little while, but these cards kind of encourage you to take it in a more pure direction, so I'm just going to assess them based on what they do. I know the Link 3 is really good, so comment down below what you're going to do with these cards in your For Hire deck. The level 5 Rex Retrain summons itself and another For Hire monster from your hand, and triggers when your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand if you control another For Hire monster to draw a card. The new Link 2 sets a For Hire spell trap from the deck, giving you the ability to play through Droll a little bit, and encouraging you to play one of trap cards to go first. And on your opponent's turn, you contribute it to summon a For Hire monster from your hand, and you get to summon 2 if they have the highest attack monster on the field. The new Quick Play spell is an E-Telly if your board is empty, and actually lets you summon 2 monsters if your opponent has 2 or more monsters when it resolves. And when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it instead of discarding a card to pay cost for a For Hire monster's effect. And lastly, the new trap is a power crept version of Ritual Beast Steeds that lets you banish on resolution if you have a For Hire Link monster, and in tandem with the Link 2 will improve the quality of the end boards that the deck can produce. With the fact that these cards lock you into summoning For Hire monsters, I don't think it's going to make a splash like competitively, but I know a lot of people have this as a pet deck, so I'm sure they'll appreciate the upgrades. Also getting 4 cards of support, we have DARKLORD. And I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I always feel like DARKLORD just is like 1 card away from being good. 1 card away from being good, and then they get 4 cards and I'm like, oh, they're still 1 card away from being good. But let's talk about them anyway. They did get a new starter with their level 4, which summons any DARKLORD monster from your deck and locks you into fairies for the turn, and also has the ability to recycle a spell trap from your graveyard to hand when you control a Dark Fairy fusion monster. The new level 5 searches for any DARKLORD or forbidden spell trap when it hits the graveyard, and if you special summon it, you can summon 2 level 6 DARKLORD tokens, but that effect locks you into fairies. And the new normal spell is a Miracle Fusion that lets you use monsters on the field and in the graveyard, including DARKLORD monsters your opponent controls. And so if you summon like the Indulged DARKLORD off of the new normal summon, you can get one of the materials that way. And the new fusion monster can be targeted by card effects and sets a DARKLORD spell and or trap from your deck when it's summoned, and shares the tribal quick effect of all of the large DARKLORD monsters to copy a spell trap in the graveyard for 1,000 life points. He only requires 2 level 6 or higher DARKLORD monsters as material, so he's pretty easy to summon, and the rest of the deck gets you access to the fusion spell pretty easily. I have 2 friends who are pretty interested in playing DARKLORD, especially after this new support, and they all say it's 1.5 card combos, not 1 card combos, and I agree with them, and so for that reason I think it's going to be like mid, but like maybe rogue playable mid, who knows. Moving from 4 to lore, we technically have 4 cards supporting the branded lore archetypes in this set, although 2 of them really go in the Albaz pile and 2 of them go in more like Springen's decks. The Albaz Retrain itself special summons from hand by dumping a fusion monster that names Albaz, and locks you into level 8 fusion and synchro monsters from the extra deck for the turn, but also lets you summon any Ecclesia monster from your deck once per turn, so it's like low-key broken in the right deck. And the new Ecclesia Synchro banishes itself until the end phase as a quick effect to summon a level 4 or lower monster from your deck that is Albaz or names him. It can actually summon from deck or graveyard, and it also lets you recycle your fusion monsters that list Albaz as material. The Springen support provides more consistency and extension to the deck. The kit in particular has a reborn that can bring back an Xyz monster, and the Springen's main deck monsters can attach themselves to those monsters to refuel them. And the new rank 4 summons the OG Sargus from the deck, which can be used as an extender or just an endboard piece. And you can detach materials from it to search, so it's also a consistency enabler. And notably, the kit has Tri-Brigade in its name, so if you're playing Tri-Brigade, you can just throw that in there too. Overall, I think this support actually kind of makes Springen's playable, even though it still dies to the same stuff it did before. It's going to boost the ceiling and the floor of the deck, so that's nice. And the Albaz pile stuff is just crazy. Like, it's just really good. There are versions of the deck that are playing more branded oriented, and there are also decks that are playing more Dracotail oriented. At the very least, you're going to see a lot of the Albaz in the Ecclesia for sure. Going from one era of lore to another, we have 3 cards that associate themselves with MEDIUS lore archetypes. The first is a new fusion monster for Archmage that sets an Archmage spell trap from the deck and gives you a quick fusion on your opponent's turn, using monsters you control. Archmage does tend to get stopped by Droll and Lockbird, so getting access to the quick play fusion, as well as having this to fuse, means that you can make a board even if your opponent floodgates you. We also have a more general use quick play spell for MEDIUS decks that lets you summon a monster from your deck with patron stats as long as you control MEDIUS, and then can banish itself from the graveyard to treat a monster you control as a tuner for the turn. And lastly, we have a normal spell for Doomsday that lets you destroy a card in your deck. This is a new starter for the deck. It improves the quality of your opening hands and if it's destroyed by card effect, it lets you recur resources from grave. Overall, I think that both the Archmage Fusion and the Doomsday normal spell will see play in their respective decks, and Doomsday in particular will be getting a big boost from this. Receiving 2 cards of support in Burst Protocol, we have Rescue Ace. Now this deck kind of has a game plan and has been seen played with like Snake Eye and other fire decks for a little bit, but it's been lacking because it dies to like evenly and Spell Trap Destruction. It really commits a lot to its end board in the back row, and even though it only got 2 cards, these do a lot for the deck. The new main deck monster provides consistency and extension and can change your lines considerably. It also has a bonus when your opponent controls monsters, so it's better going second. And the Link monster just requires generic fire materials and can bridge you into Rescue Ace off of generic fire by searching Hydrant or Field Spell. And it kind of has like a semi-detonator like effect where if you activate a quick play or a trap, as long as it's a Rescue Ace card, after it resolves in a new chain, you get to pop a card on the field. And that triggers up to twice per turn. Is it going to be meta? Probably not, but it is a modern deck, so getting new support is notable. And the fact that it works with generic fire stuff and acts as a bridge is pretty good as well. Our next archetype with 2 cards of support is EXOSISTER, and these cards are actually really strong. The continuous spell provides you with consistency by searching 2 and then discarding 1 on activation. It gives you an extra normal summon, and when your opponent puts something in the graveyard, you get to banish something from their graveyard once per turn. And the new Xyz monster detaches all of its materials to change an opponent's effect to adding a card back from your graveyard to your hand, allowing you to insulate your lines through Nibiru or provide light interaction going first. She also sets an EXOSISTER spell trap from the deck or graveyard or banished pile during the end phase of the turn she was summoned, allowing you to cut the trap cards down to 1 each and still access them reliably. I think these cards are great, and especially in Genesis, EXOSISTER is going to see a big boost from them. And our last archetype receiving 2 direct cards of support is Radiant Typhoon. And Radiant Typhoon is a deck that's been out for a little while, but hasn't really seen a lot of success as a pure strategy. People are playing the level 3s in other decks, including Malice, but now with this Link monster, I think the deck is going to see success as a pure strategy, and it has already in the OCG. The new quick play spell reborns a level 6 or lower Radiant Typhoon monster or searches or salvages MST, and the new Link monster searches or salvages MST on summon and places a continuous trap face up from your deck or graveyard if a quick play is activated, meaning you no longer have to search Mandate in your combo. The Link monster also provides slow speed removal by targeting 2 monsters on the field and placing them in the spell trap zones, but you always have to target a Radiant Typhoon monster you control as at least one of the targets. Even if you do this though, that's going to give you a target for MST. So the Link 2 is going to turn your bad hands into playable hands, your okay hands into good hands, and your good hands into great hands. It's going to be a game changer for the deck, and we already see it in the OCG, like I said. And with 1 card of support each, we have our Justice Hunters archetypes. K9 is getting a new rank 9 that they can get off of quick play spell, and it provides more interaction than their other options do, including spin back, monster negation, and board disruption. The new Draco Tail fusion provides slow speed interaction and some resource management, and the Yummy Continuous Trap is basically pack filler. I would have liked to see a little bit more equality in terms of the power of these cards, especially with an impending ban list, but I'll take support for every deck we can get. And speaking of every deck we can get, my last slide is going to be miscellaneous support. We have a new Arm Dragon card that can summon itself from the graveyard and destroy a card on the field to summon a dragon 2 levels higher from the deck. We have a DDD fusion monster that lets you fusion again by shuffling materials back from banished pile. And when it itself is banished, it activates dark contracts from banish and grave equal to the number of DD monsters you control. There's a new illusion quick play spell that Foolish Burial is a monster and can take control of a monster your opponent controls on a different turn. And there's a new level 1 penguin called First Penguin, which provides a lot of consistency to specifically synchro water decks. Like, people are playing it in Penguin, K9, and in Ice Barrier, I think. But with all that said, that is Burst Protocol. It was a lot of information. It took a lot of research to make this video. So please, again, if you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow when we talk about the new decks.